What's up, DA? We just waiting for some more people to come in. Then we're gonna start. We're gonna give it up to like 2 more minutes. See if a few more people come in. If not, we still gonna start. You know what? 3 people is enough. What's up, guys? It's me, Danny TV, and we're back at it again with another live stream. Welcome to the lab. Welcome to the lab. Today I have a guest here, my husband, who's actually the boss, the head in charge, you know, masculine. Nah, for real. I got my husband, King Lou TV, here in the building with us.
What up with y'all, man? What's happening?
Tonight we're gonna be he tweaking. Tonight we're gonna be talking about corruption, guys. So I need you guys to stay tuned, put on your seatbelts, buckle up, cause we're gonna be talking about some things that you guys did not know about within the system. Yeah, DA, shout out King Lou TV. So
Hey, what's the word? What's up?
make
What's up?
make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell while you at it. But nevertheless, what we're going to be talking about today is corruption within child protective services. Y'all know those people that come knocking at your door, snatching kids away out of homes? Well, we have some things that we would like to go over with you guys in regards to child protective services because a lot of you people feel like these people are saving the world, saving the universe. Um, you guys have probably heard me speak on this before, but I always come with different facts every time I talk about these people. Child protective services is actually one of the most corrupt systems in America there is, if you ask me. Because, see, what they're doing is they are coming to your house, knocking on your door with some paperwork, and it's majority hearsay. It's what they heard in order for them to move forward with taking your child away out of the home and leaving these children in the system for years at a time to grow up without their parents. So we're going to be talking about these people and their corruption and their, non-for-profit organizations and how they are funded by the federal government to continue to do business as usual. These people, majority of them that work within this corrupt business is very insecure within themselves. They have self-esteem issues. So they get into these type of businesses.
Insecurities.
Insecurities. So how would you like to do this, King Lou TV? Would you like for me to read off the corruption to these to my people, or
I wanted to review, Nancy Schaefer. Is that her name?
correct? Nancy Schaefer.
Yeah, Nancy Schaefer, y'all.
Okay, so guys, I'm pretty sure majority of you guys do not know who Nancy Schaefer or Schaefer is. No disrespect to her. You guys, Nancy Schaefer, it was a Georgia State Senate in the 50th district that exposed Child Protective Services many years ago, back in 2008. It's crazy because in 2008, I was actually 14 years old. But Nancy Schaefer exposed Child Protective Services. I recently found out that she passed away. I believe after she exposed Child Protective Services, she passed away. So let's see, because I don't want to be wrong. Okay. Yeah. So Nancy Smith Schaefer, born June 28th, 1938, and died March 26th, 2010. Unfortunately, Nancy Schaefer was found dead at her home in Turnerville, Georgia, in Habersham County on March 26, 2010, with a single gunshot wound to her back, along with her husband of 52 years, Bruce Schaefer, who was found with a single gunshot wound to his chest. Do you guys know that I heard that they tried to call it a murder-suicide, but it wasn't true because her husband loved her dearly. He would never hurt her. He would never kill her. They killed Nancy Schaefer because they wanted her to shut up and not expose the corruption. She put her life on the line to expose DCFS and their corruption. And this is what she got in return. Her and her husband died behind this. That's how you know this is an extremely corrupt business ran in America.
So Nancy, she used to work under them, or did she experience it by losing children?
So Nancy Schaefer was the Georgia State Senate. So in her state Senate seat, she had people, you know what I'm saying? They came to her for help, cries for help about their DCFS cases. Right. And they needed that help. And she exposed the system behind it, because she was like, I just couldn't believe how many cases with the same exact similarities and how many people is really going through this. Right. You would think that when you go to your state senate that they would help you, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the state senates is corrupt. So it's like you running around in a circle. See, Child Protective Services / DCFS guys is so corrupt that they are partnered with so many people you wouldn't even believe it. They're partnered with the police department, with the fire department, with the school system. They are partnered with hell, the criminal justice system. CPS is partnered with every system you can think of, pretty much. That's how connected, that's how strong they are as a business when it comes down to taking kids.
Could you either read and play a video from her so we can kind of let them, kind of get more of an insight of what we talking about,
So being that I would like for people to hear what I'm saying, I'm definitely going to read it and then I'll play the video so they can, actually understand what she's saying when she gets up here and starts talking.
Perfect. That's perfect.
What's up, Gorilla Man? So this was on September 25th, 2008, unfortunately, 2 years before Nancy Schaefer passed away. Nancy Schaefer exposed Child Protective Services and DCFS. Shout out Nancy Schaefer, man. And rest in peace to her, her and her husband, because she didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve.
Strong couple.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start. So it says, my introduction into Child Protective Service cases was due to a grandmother in an adjoining state who called me with her tragic story. Her 2 granddaughters had been taken from her daughter who lived in my district. Her daughter was told wrongly that if she wanted to see her children again, she should sign a paper and give up her children. Frightened and young, the daughter did. I have since discovered that parents are often threatened into cooperation of permanent separation of their children. The children were taken to another county and placed in foster care. The foster parents were told wrongly that they could adopt the children. The grandmother then jumped through every hoop known to man in order to get her granddaughters. When the case finally came to court, it was made evident by one of the foster parents' children that the foster parents had at any given time 18 foster children, and that the foster mother had an inappropriate relationship with the caseworker. In the courtroom, the juvenile judge acted as though she was shocked and said the 2 girls would be removed quickly. They were not removed. Finally, after much pressure being applied to the Department of Children and Family Services of Georgia, the children were driven to South Georgia to meet their grandmother, who gladly drove to meet them. After being with their grandmother 2 or 3 days, the judge, quite out of the blue, wrote up a new order to send the girls to their father, who previously had no interest in the case and who lived on the West Coast. The father was in adult entertainment. His girlfriend worked as an escort, and his brother, who also worked in the business, had a sexual charge brought against him. Within a couple of days, the father was knocking on the grandmother's door and took the girls kicking and screaming to California. The father developed an unusual relationship with the former foster parents and soon moved to the Southeast. The foster parents began driving to the father's residence and picking up the little girls for visits. The oldest child had told her mother and grandmother on 2 different occasions that the foster father SA'd her. I can't say the word because I'm censored by YouTube.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
To this day, after 5 years, this loving, caring, blood relative grandmother does not even have visitation privileges with the children. The little girls are, in my opinion, permanently traumatized, and the young mother of the girls was so traumatized with shock when the girls were first removed from her that she has never completely recovered. The mother has rights, but the father still has custody of the children. Throughout this case and through the process of dealing with multiple other mismanaged cases of the Department of Children and Family Services, I have worked with other desperate parents across the state of Georgia and in many other states because their children were taken for no cause and they have no one with whom to turn. I have witnessed ruthless behavior from many caseworkers, social workers, investigators, lawyers, judges, therapists, and others, such as those who pick up the children. I have been stunned by what I have seen and heard from victims all across this land. In this report, I have focused mainly on the Georgia Department of Family and Children Services in Georgia and other titles in other states has become a protected empire built on taking children and separating families. This is not to say that there are not those children who do not need to be removed from wretched situations and need protection. However, this report is concerned with the children and parents caught up in legal kidnapping. So, what do you call a person that's taking your children and keeping them away with they're using their job to take your you a kidnapper, legal kidnapping.
I mean,
you feel me?
A professional kidnapper,
pretty much. I mean, it's a profession for them, you know.
Yeah.
However, this report is concerned with the children and parents caught up in legal kidnapping, ineffective policies, and an agency that on certain occasions will not remove a child or children when the child was enduring torment and abuse. In one county in my district, I arranged a meeting for 37 families to speak freely and without fear. These poor parents and grandparents spoke of their painful, heart-wrenching encounters with DCFS. Their suffering was overwhelming. They wept and they cried. Some did not know where their children were and had not seen them in years. I had witnessed the Jezebel at work, and I witnessed the deceitful conditions under which children were taken in the middle of the night, out of the hospitals, off of school buses, and out of their homes. In one county, a private drug testing business was operating within the agency's department that required many, many drug tests from parents and individuals for profit. It has already made over $100,000.
They hustling.
Yeah. These people are extremely corrupt. They are, when I tell you, they partnered with every damn system, hospital, doctors, like I'm talking about everything you can think of.
To sign up and do that job, man, you gotta have some serious issues, man.
What's up, Jewel?
You gotta have some serious issues to do something like that.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah,
There's no way you can see a family really go through that and.
But see, these are the people, and exactly. But these are the people that's gonna be judged real hard by the Most High, because when I tell you, in the Bible it says they will become lovers of money and everything. In the Book of Revelations, this is the end times that we living in. This is showing that people will do anything for the love of money. For the love of money. Let me finish.
Finish.
Due to being exposed, several employees in this particular office were fired. However, they have now been rehired either in neighboring counties or in the same county again. According to the calls I am now receiving, the conditions in that county are returning to the same practices that they had before the light was shown on their evil deeds. Having worked with probably 300 cases statewide and now hundreds and hundreds across this nation and in nearly every state, I am convinced there is no responsibility and no accountability in Child Protective Services system. Hold on. She ain't done yet.
She ain't done?
She ain't done.
Ooh. She ain't even done.
Is there any how do you feel about this so far?
I mean, I'm just saying, the thing is, you pick your battles wisely, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one lesson that you learn from hearing about this thing, about what, she's exposed, or, just hearing about her. She said it was 37 families that was able to speak freely, and they was crying, and it, you fight the battles that you can fight, right? But then you gotta understand there's some battles that you're not even supposed to fight, and that's how you fight them, by not fighting them. You get what I'm saying? Because you understand that when things are created a certain way, there is not anything you and or others would be able to do to change things. Because even if those people be held accountable to hold accountability,
Mhm.
ain't nothing gonna change. What they say, they got rehired.
Facts.
So it's like a 360. It's just like a Ferris wheel. It just keep going. So yeah, you just from hearing all that, I just not only learned a lot, but you just realize it remind me of the criminal system.
Yeah.
Like how it is to be on that side. And once you're on that side, it's over with. Once you got a felony, it's over with. It remind me of that. But yeah. So how you feel about hearing her story and what happened?
Well, from my experience, I have 5 children in the system. So to hear this, I fear for their safety and I fear for their lives. Being in a system that you know that covers up who they truly are and what they truly mean to do, instead of going around lying to the parents saying all you have to do is do this, that, and the third, and then you'll get your children back. Let's be 100. That's not how it goes. This is it's a facade, it's a game, it's a cover up for them to do legal but unlawful evil things, which is separate families. And I just feel like, they are so insecure within themselves.
Overweight and personal issues.
They all got different personal issues. Anybody that can work within a business, and I'm talking about not just DCFS, or I'm talking about foster care agencies, police departments, courthouses, hospitals, daycares, anything that any system that you can think of that is linked to child protective services. They all have to have a strong insecurity within themselves to do this. They all have to be lovers of money in order to do this. You can't sit here and tell me that you do this with good intentions. Don't get me wrong, some of them do, but those ones are very rare to find.
Yeah.
In this system, because things
just
happen
like
to
for good people in the world. It's so hard to find good people in the world. Just as it is within the system, trying to find good people in such a corrupt system.
Things happen to good people. You know what I'm saying? They work within this system. Once they start to expose the real truth, they pretty much got their life on the line. These people are dangerous. These are the real criminals.
Yeah.
They're dangerous. They killing people behind this. Yeah. Committing perjury.
Falsifying documents to make things look a certain way, and man,
they are linked and they partner with these other agencies. Like she said, they was partnering with a whole private drug testing facility.
Yeah,
ain't that crazy? That test parents and majority of the time giving them a false positive to make it look like they're drug addicts, and then throwing them in drug classes and say, until you complete this drug treatment program, then you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are wicked and dangerous. For real. Why punish the children behind this? The question that I had for my husband when we talked about this a while ago, I said, why punish the children behind this? You know what I'm saying? And then I came to the conclusion, I said, you know what? I know what it is. It's the fact that, if they feel a lot more self-secure doing it towards the children, because what, children are innocent. Children mean nothing to people in this world as it is. They treat them like trash anyway. They make them hurry up and go to school and get the hell out of my house. And, for real, people do things to children without having any sympathy. That's the truth. Because they're little children and because y'all disregard their feelings and y'all feel like they shouldn't have fucking feelings. And if it's a lot more easier for you to hurt a child's feelings because it means nothing in the first damn place to you. And also, you treat them like trash because think about it. When a mother is pregnant, you got all type of different people in her ear telling her that she should terminate her pregnancy. You automatically have no compassion and no sympathy for that unborn child because you believe that it's not a human being. You believe that it's a little cell. It's a cell, and you can get it out of you. That's a human. That's a human. It's a human. The baby is a human. But y'all have no compassion in your hearts. So you feel like it's easier to target the children. But then again, you make the children feel like, oh, this is right. This is the right thing to do. Okay. We're gonna make sure you have a safe home away from the predators.
And put them with predators.
And put them with predators, though. Put them with people that don't give a damn about them.
They take them from the parents and say, hey, you're unfit. You neglect them. You whatever, right? Turn around, put them in a home where they're getting raped, they're getting drugged, they're getting
great, because you gotta kind of be careful with that word. For real.
Allegedly, right?
But then,
shout out to Nancy.
Shout out to Nancy.
Man. All right, rest in peace, Nancy. For speaking out, man.
There's more. She has a conclusion.
Let's get to it.
Nancy has the conclusion. Okay.
Let's get Nancy's conclusion.
So,
let's get it going.
Nancy says, I have come to the conclusion that poor parents very often are targeted to lose their children because they do not have the wherewithal to hire lawyers and fight the system. Being poor does not mean that you're not a good parent or that you do not love your child or that your child should be removed and placed with strangers. All parents are capable of making mistakes, and that making a mistake does not mean your child should be removed from the home. Even if the home is not perfect, it is a home, and that is where a child is safest and where he or she wants to be with is their family. Parenting classes, anger management classes, counseling referrals, therapy classes, and on and on and on are demanded of parents with no compassion by the system, even while the parents are at work and while the child is separated from them. Sometimes parents are required to pay for the programs. This can take months or even years, and it is emotionally devastating for both children and the parents. Parents are victimized by the system that makes a profit for holding children longer and bonuses for not returning children to their parents. My fault. I know I was all in y'all ear.
My bad.
But let me say it again for the people in the back.
Say it one more time.
So they can hear this. Because I know a lot of y'all got questions. And y'all be like, man, they must be doing something wrong. Because how come they still didn't get their kids returned? I'll tell you why. You ready? Parents are victimized by the system that makes a profit for holding children longer and bonuses for not returning children to their parents.
You just say not?
For not returning.
Not.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They ain't getting a bonus for sending the children home. How evil is that?
So let me get this right. So basically, the same agencies and whatever, right? They come to you. They say, we got your kids. This is what you need to do to get them back. We're working on reunification. we're gonna have this meeting, we're gonna have it, and they turn around and keep them away to get their bonuses. That's why they be leaving to go to other jobs and stuff, because they be having so much money from keeping and that's just wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how many cases it is all around in the world. But I'm sorry.
That's a big number.
Yeah. But you can finish her conclusion. I want to see what she's talking about.
No problem.
Okay.
Caseworkers and social workers are very often guilty of what? Fraud. Caseworkers and social workers are very often guilty of what? Fraud.
Fraud, man.
They withhold and destroy evidence. They fabricate evidence, and they seek to terminate parental rights unnecessarily. However, when charges are made against Child Protective Services, the charges are ignored. Of course, you want to know why? Because no one's going to believe you. They look at you as a little piece of garbage to them anyway.
I got a better one for you, though. You know how in the movies, you would see a person have that one person that works in that business that he pays a few dollars under the table to let them get away with something that nobody can do.
Right.
I feel like that's the connection with, this full circle of, all the people that DCFS and CPS like that.
Oh yeah, it's a money grab.
It's a money grab. It's like, look, man, if you could let them come here for a second in your facility, we could both eat. And the longer that they in your facility, away from the parents, I'm telling you, that bonus is gonna slap. We can go on vacation. Man, you can leave. You can go do something else. You ain't even gotta work here no more. Just sign this, finalize that, do that, bam, on to the next parents to destroy.
But I just want to say this too, I'm gonna just say this. Everyone knows the truth about y'all now. And they're gonna continue to know the truth, because guess what? I ain't done. The separation of families and the snatching of children is growing as a business because local governments have grown accustomed to having these taxpayer dollars to balance their ever-expanding budgets. Child Protective Services and juvenile court can always hide behind a confidentiality clause in order to protect their decisions and keep the funds flowing. There should be open records and court watches. Look who is being paid. There are state employees, lawyers, court investigators, guardian ad litem's, aka GALs, court personnel, and judges. There are psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, caseworkers, therapists, foster parents, adoptive parents, and on and on and on.
Wow.
All are looking to the children in state custody to provide job security. Parents do not realize that the social workers are the glue that hold the system together, that funds the court-appointed attorneys, and the multiple other jobs, including the system's psychiatrists, therapists, their own attorneys, and others. Wait. There's more.
She ain't even done. Wow.
The Adoption and the Safe Families Act, set in motion first in 1974 by Walter Mondale and later in 1997 by President Bill Clinton, offered cash bonuses to the states for every child that they adopted out of foster care. In order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, local Child Protective Services need more children. They must have merchandise, which are children, that sells and you must have plenty so the buyer can choose. Some counties are known to give a $4,000 to $6,000 bonus for each child that is adopted out of strangers, and an additional $2,000 for a special needs child. Employees work to keep the federal dollars flowing. State Departments of Human Resources, which is DHR, and affiliates are given a baseline number of expected adoptions based on population. For every child DHR and CPS can get adopted, there is the bonus of maybe 4,000 or maybe 6,000. But that is only the beginning figure in a formula in which each bonus is multiplied by the percentage that the state has managed to exceed its baseline adoption number. Therefore, states and local communities work hard to reach their goals for increased numbers of adoptions for children in foster care. Wow. 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 Wait, hold on. This is why I said so. Be weary of these people that feel like they're saving the universe, they're saving the world, they're saving their state. The state of Illinois. But we all know the state of Illinois is corrupt.
Exactly.
00 says, I got a question. If you say anything inappropriate or off topic, you will be blocked. So please tell me your question is in regards to what we're speaking about. So I'll wait.
There ain't really much to say about what we're speaking about. I mean, come on, y'all.
Well,
it's just as bad as gang violence. This is just as bad as any crime, anything you could think of.
You know what's so sickening about this? They look at people as, black folks that has committed crimes in the past and things like that. You a criminal. And they call you a criminal. Well, goddamn, the audacity. And this is the stuff that you're doing. You a damn criminal.
Wow.
Hold on. There's more.
Villains rejoice. Go ahead.
There is double dipping. The funding continues as long as the child is out of the home. There is funding for foster care. Then when a child is placed with a new family, then adoption bonus funds are available. When a child is placed in a mental health facility and is on 16 drugs a day, like 2 children of a constituent of mine, more funds are involved, and so is Medicaid. As you can see, this program is ordered from the very top and run by Health and Human Services. This is why victims of CPS get no help from their legislators. It explains why my bill SB 415 suffered such defeat in the Judicial Committee, why I was cut off at every juncture. Legislators and governors must remember who funds their paychecks. There are no financial resources and no real drive to unite a family and help keep them together or provide effective care. The incentives for social workers or caseworkers to return children to their parents quickly after taking them has disappeared, and who in protective services will step up to the plate and say, this must end? No one, because they are all in the system together, and a system with no leader and no clear policies will always fail the children. Just look at the waste in government that is forced upon the taxpayer. The policy manual is considered the last word for DCFS. However, it is too long, too confusing, poorly written, and does not take the law into consideration. This is and this is exactly why they don't follow DCFS policy. They don't follow DCFS policy because what she say? It is too long, too confusing, poorly written, and does not take the law into consideration. If the lives of children were improved by removing them from their homes, there might be a greater need for protective services. But today, children are not safe. Children, of whom I am aware, have been raped, and impregnated in foster care. Sickos. In foster care, though. In foster care. A system that's supposed to help reunify families. Y'all throwing the children to the wolves. For money. It's like I said, it's all a money grab. Y'all love money that much. This is crazy. The amount of insanity.
Money ain't gonna change your insecurity, though. Like, whatever you don't like about yourself, you gotta just wake up and just like it about yourself, bro. Because no amount of money in the world is gonna be able to take away the hurt that you dishing out doing what you're doing.
That's why I say the bad people that do this, They don't love themselves. So we about to end it off by saying it is a known fact that children are in much more danger in foster care than they are in their home, even though homes may not be perfect. Some parents are even told that if they want to see their children or grandchildren, they must divorce their spouse. Many who are underprivileged, feeling that they have no option, will divorce and then just continue to live together. This is an anti-family policy, but parents will do anything to get their children home with them. However, when the parents cooperate with Child Protective Services, their behavior is interpreted as guilt when nothing could be further from the truth. Fathers, which are non-custodial parents, I must add, are oftentimes treated as criminals without access to the visit or even to see their own children, and have child support payments strangling the very life out of them. The Foster Parents Bill of Rights does not stress that a foster parent is there temporarily to care for a child until the child can be returned home. Many foster parents today use the Foster Parent Bill of Rights as a means to hire a lawyer and to seek to adopt a child placed in their care from the real parents, who are desperately trying to get their child home and out of the system. Recently, in Atlanta, a young couple learning to be new parents and loving it were told that because of an anonymous complaint, their daughter would be taken into custody by DCFS. The couple was devastated and then was required by DCFS to take up parenting classes, alcohol counseling, and psychological evaluations if they wanted to get their child back. All of the courses cost money, for which most parents are required to pay. While in their anxiety and turmoil to get their child home, the baby was left for hours in a car to die in the heat in her car seat by a foster parent who forgot about the child. This should have never happened. It is tragic. And in many cases, after the parents have jumped through all of the hoops, they still do not get their child. As long as the child is not returned, there is money for the agency or for foster parents. As long as the child is not returned, there is money for the agency, for the foster parents, for adoptive parents, and for the state. Tax dollars are being used to keep this gigantic system afloat. Yet the victims' parents, grandparents, guardians, and especially the children are charged for the system's services. Grandparents have called from all over the state of Georgia and from other states trying to get custody of their children. CPS claims relatives are contacted, but there are many, many cases that prove differently. Grandparents who lose their grandchildren to strangers have lost their own flesh and blood. The children lose their family heritage and grandparents, and parents too lose all connections to their heirs. The National Center on Child Abuse and Neglect in 1998 reported that 6 times as many children died in foster care than in the general public, and that once removed to official safety, these children are far more likely to suffer abuse, including SA, than in the general population. Think what that number is today, 10 years later. Now, 10 years later would have been 2018. You know what I'm saying? But it's 2025 now. So them numbers is high.
Extremely high.
So we narrowing it down very small, guys. According to the California Little Hoover Commission report in 2003, 30% to 70% of the children in California group homes do not belong there and should not have been removed from their homes. And that is all. Nancy Schaefer has some recommendations as well. And I do want y'all to hear her recommendations. She said, call for an independent audit of all state child protective services and for a federal congressional hearing on child protective services nationwide. Activate immediate change. Every day that passes means more families and children are subject to being held hostage and their lives are destroyed. Abolish the federal and state financial incentives that have turned child protective services into a business that separates families for money. Grant to parents their rights verbally and in writing. Mandate a search for family members to be given the opportunity to adopt their own relatives if children need to be removed permanently. Mandate a jury trial where every piece of evidence is presented before permanently removing a child from his or her parents. Open family court. Remove the secrecy. Allow the press and family members access. Give parents the opportunity in court to speak and be a part of their children's futures. Require a warrant or a positive emergency circumstance before removing children from their parents. Uphold the laws when someone fabricates or presents false evidence. If a parent alleges fraud, hold a hearing with the right to discovery of all evidence made available to parents. Exactly. And last but not least, Nancy's final remarks. On my desk are scores of cases of exhausted families and terrified children. It has been beyond me to turn my back on these suffering, crying, and beaten down individuals. We are mistreating the most innocent. Child Protective Services has become an adult-centered business to the detriment of children. No longer is judgment based on what the child needs or who the child wants to be with or whom or what is really best for the whole family. It is some adult or bureaucrat, who makes the decisions based often on just hearsay, without ever consulting a family member or just what is convenient, profitable, or less troublesome for the social workers. I have witnessed such injustice and harm brought to so many families that I am not sure if I ever believe that reform of the system is possible. The system cannot be trusted. It does not serve the people. It liberates families and children simply because it has the power to do so. Children deserve better. Families deserve better. It is time to pull back the curtain and set our children and families free. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 8 through 9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. R.I.P. Nancy Schaefer, man.
R.I.P. Nancy Schaefer, man. And yes, I'm with my wife right now, man. We had to drop this bomb on y'all today. This for y'all, man. This because y'all really don't think we know what's going on. We know everything that's going on.
And we know that this is a corrupt business that is ran by a bunch of people that's deep in their feelings, that has too much pride, that is lovers of money, and that rely on children to pay their bills. You need to get up from where you at, clock out, and resign. If you really, really, really want to help children, this is not the way. This is a corrupt business. Real talk.
Real talk.
And if you got any heart, any type of sympathy, when you clock into your job, you will really think about it and say, you know what? I got to find something else. I can't do this. I can't continue to rip families apart. I can't continue to keep these children away from their parents. They deserve to be with their parents. But majority of y'all got too much pride.
Too much. Insecure.
And you take it out on an innocent child. And then the lying and the falsifying documentation, it has to stop. For real. Because, I mean, let's be honest. This whole system might be corrupt and everything. But when it come across the desk to the right person that sees y'all corruption, you're going to have to suffer some harsh consequences behind falsifying documents and lying. For real. Y'all keeping innocent children away from their parents. It's unfair. It's an unjust system. It's unfair. And now y'all see why Child Protective Services / DCFS is so corrupt. Now y'all see why me personally, I still don't have my children.
Yeah.
Because it's ran by a corrupt system.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there that want to say, "Oh, all you got to do is do your services," trust me, it ain't even. It's not even. It don't have nothing to do with that. Although I did what I had to do. Although I been did what I had to do. It's all about the coins. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
In so many words, they basically letting you know, like, once we get your kids, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
We finna do everything we can to make sure you don't get them back.
Yeah.
Because we need our bonuses. This is how we pay our bills. This is how we feed our families. That's not broken up by ours, the system that we work for. And we're going to come and look at you and act like we don't know none of this going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come to you and act like we don't know what's going to happen to you, et cetera, et cetera.
And they know everything.
They be knowing already.
They already be knowing what's going to happen.
They like the world. This is why you got to watch out for people. They're like the world. Cannot trust what people say. They will literally sit there and lie in your face, regular face.
Lie with a straight face, though.
They say fake it till you make it. They ain't even they made it to where they at.
Mm-hmm.
Working for a corrupt system. So yeah, I'm with her. I'm gonna always be with her. I'm the boss. I'll run this. You know what I'm saying? It's my family. I'll protect and provide for my family. Shout out to my wife for letting me on her stream. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all her people. You know, and at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna be able to stop the power that me and my partner, my wife, that we possess together. Cause ain't no breaking this up. Get you a man. If you need some pointers, holler at my wife. You know what I'm saying? Don't be hating on her though. But on the real though, appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe this video, man.
For real.
Shout out to my wife, man. Hey.
I definitely appreciate y'all for stopping in. Appreciate you, DA, for stopping by. And whoever else was sitting in here and listening, rather you got good intentions or bad intentions.
What's up? And God bless everybody.
God bless everybody, because he's gonna continue to bless you as long as you're doing the right thing. So yeah, I just want to let y'all know that I do appreciate all the bad people out there that's looking at my channel.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all too.
With bad intentions, that's looking at my channel, that dislikes me or that personally knows me and that wants to use everything that I say against me as a weapon. That's totally fine. Do whatever you gonna do. Y'all already got y'all mind made up about us anyway. And about the way that y'all feel about us. Y'all already got y'all personal feelings involved within this, and it shows. So at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to make videos, and I'm going to continue to expose the system every chance that I get. Y'all are extremely corrupt.
And y'all bitter. Let me say this. Go get y'all some partners, man. Mm-hmm. I'm a grown man. I got something that's called melanin. Okay? A lot of good women know what that is because they have that culture and that's their partner, and he runs the seat. That's what I am. All right. Don't ever test me as far as thinking that you want to challenge me as the person that I am, because you don't know who I am. Trust me. You see how my wife looks. You hear her voice. You see how smart she is. I ain't get her easy. She talking to somebody who got some sense. Exactly. She being submissive to a man that's leading her the right way. So don't be mad because you don't have that. Don't be mad because you don't know what submissive is, Y'all brainwashed. A lot of y'all women out here, are even the married women, I see it. Yeah. They brainwashed. They don't feel like, they don't feel like they should be submissive to their husbands because they are built on masculinity. A lot of these women are masculine. Their husband are effeminate. And I know that y'all want him to be effeminate. It's okay. He will never be that. Okay? No, that's good. Let me tell you something. If he was such a bad person, I would not be with him. I wouldn't. She was such a bad woman, trust me. I wouldn't be there. For real. I had my share of, being with the evil guys and stuff like that back in the day. Trust me. But I grew up and I grew out of that. And I found someone that truly loves me, loves my older children,
that's not his, but treats them like they're his children. And he's an amazing father overall to our children as well that we have together. So at the end of the day, like I said, people can do whatever they want, but me and my husband, we will still leave a mark on our children every chance that we get. And I understand that this business is built on straight corruption, and their intentions from the very beginning is to never reunite families in the first place. It's all a facade, it's a stage play, and it's a damn shame. Why play with people like that? Why are y'all playing with people's lives?
It's a role. It's just like movies. Movies, they got actors. It's a court. So it's just like a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
Two teams. You got away, you got home.
It's just a damn shame how y'all sit here and y'all play with families and pretend that you're going to reunite families, and you make them go through service after service after service, year by year by year. And the whole time who you're hurting the child. You're hurting the parents as well, because they are watching their children grow up in the system for just because you got your personal feelings in the way. And when I tell you, you ain't gonna get no blessings for your evil doings, you're not. Thank you, DA, for coming in the live stream and participating and hearing us out. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all get the likes up on this stream. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more content. All right. Wake them folks up.
Wake them up.